Nah, man, I just it's crazy. I know we was just kind of just talking about it a little bit before we had a chance to hop on, and the main thing was like the Cowboys and how they approach free agency, and we kind of got accustomed to what they've been doing over the last 3 or 4 years. It hasn't really been a splash. I think a lot of people thought the biggest splash would be the OBJ, but normally on that first day, if you know, we don't really make too much moves. So when it was all quiet, I seen the people panicking a little bit. Day one, Cowboys never do anything. But I think going into it, we already knew that, right? The main thing, trying to sign your own guys. We get the Donovan news, which I'm very excited about, honestly. I think if it was one thing we always kind of rooting for, it was like, hey, was it going to be Pollard, Wilson? Look, at the end of the day, we get both, right?
Right.
We get a Wilson back. I'm cool with the contract. LV, what are we going to do there? I think we'll get a little bit deeper in that. I think they're still trying to work some things out. But, hey, look, man, we got a Stephon Gilmore, and it kind of just changed the vibe of everything, right? So I'm excited. How you feeling about it?
No, man, that provides some necessary depth in our secondary. Stephon, I mean, he's not what he used to be, but he's still a baller, and he's coming into a situation where he's not going to be asked to be like your number one corner. We already have that. So I feel like every situation he was in previously, he was asked to be like the guy, the lockdown guy, So coming over here, he brings mentorship, to young boy like Deron Bland as well as Trayvon Diggs. But we also have Jordan Lewis coming back off of injury. So, I mean, we got depth at corner, it feels like, for the first time in a long time. And then I think this kind of pushes Kelvin Joseph's like strictly to the special teams.
But now, like you said, man, don't forget J. Lou. We got some pieces back there. I don't even want to forget about the Izzy McQuamu, man. So it's like, I think looking at it, going into the offseason and kind of trying to gauge which direction we'll go, I was kind of comfortable with Deron Bland being the number 2 based off of what they would do, like what we were talking to number 3. But look, if you're telling me I can push Deron Bland to this nickel spot and I can move a Gilmore at 2, man, I think we cooking with something right now, man. And then like you say, man, for Trayvon Diggs, like what this do for him? I think this gives quarterbacks another chance to look his way, because last year it was like, hey, look, is Anthony Brown out there or whoever? I just think they was talking to whoever was on the other side of that. Now, I think you got to pause a little bit. You got to think about that a little bit as far as like Gilmore here, Trayvon Diggs there, a little pause, a little hesitation. That's more time for the pass rush to get there. So I think this kind of benefits everybody. We keep the trio together as far as the safety room. I'm good, man. I think we addressed this linebacker room. Hopefully, fingers crossed for possibly a Bobby Wagner or maybe even LV. I'm comfortable with it at this point, but I think I'm ready to roll into the draft, man, and see what happens at this wide receiver position, if anything. I don't think we're done.
You know what? I do think the Bobby Wagner trade's going to happen. I feel like we got DQ on our side. And I know we kind of talked about it previously, but I mean, the Rams, I don't think they're worried about what pick they get. They just want picks at this point. And I think Bobby can probably be had for a 5th, 6th. Like, they're just trying to gather picks and get some of this cap off the books at this point, because what's the point to hanging on to him if, I mean, you're going to be an irrelevant team this year? Like, I mean, Stafford's kind of on the block as well, apparently. So, but I mean, if I told you we traded pick 4 for, let's say 4 and a 6 for Bobby Wagner, how you feeling?
Oh, I think it's too much. I'm not even trading him for, because if we even going there when it's talking about trade value or whatnot, man, I just seen Darren Waller go for a 3rd. I just seen Jalen Ramsey go for a 3rd. Bobby Wagner, I'm not giving up a full 4. We just got a 5th for give up a 5th for Stephon Gilmore. I'm sorry. So I'm looking at it like D Hop. We talked about D Hop, and see, you even worth a 3rd to me anymore. Maybe willing to maybe get him for possibly 4th for later, man. So I don't think it'll take much to get him off. We already talked about the Rams and their cap situation. I think, if anything, man, we might could even roll with another 5th round pick or 6th round pick, and it might just be enough at this point, man.
And then, and then the LVE situation, I'm sure we'll get news on that within the my bad. I'm sure we'll get some news on that within the next couple of days, but have they revealed like who the other team is talking to him? Because I'm not sure.
Nah. We
if there is,
I'm sure. Yeah, it'll be one way or the other. Either somebody else will sign them, or we're here. After everything is over. Whoever it was. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm hearing the number at $7 million. I still think $7 million too high. So I think at this point it's kind of them trying to come down a little bit. Is another team willing to pay that, and is LV willing to stay for a little bit less. So that's probably where we are at the moment.
See, I feel like with LVE, 7 is way too high. But if you want to like paint it out to look pretty. Like, let's give him 3 years, 21 with 15 guaranteed. You know what I mean? Something around there. That way, it looks good on paper. You know, he might just come in. I mean, the incentives could bring him to the $7 million mark, but the $7 million for Vander Esch isn't the answer there.
I'm not even sure if it's worth it at this point, man.
No.
I kind of think about it, right? Like LV, he played well. I don't want to take nothing from him, but I'm wondering at this point, like, was it him looking good because we had nobody else in that room, or
Right.
you know what I mean, or he had a rebound year, right? And like just because he had a rebound year, he had a great year, or whatever. Like, is that worthy of an extension or staying here for multiple years? I always thought this was a position we could upgrade, so I don't want to kind of let what he did like towards the end of the year. He had a decent year, but I don't want that to overshadow like the need that linebacker is. Even if he comes back, to be honest, I still think we should attack this position. And if we could upgrade, I think we should do so, man. There's a lot of guys still out there. But I will take him back. You know what I mean? Like you said, at the right price. I think Dalton Schultz is good as gone. But when you looked at this offseason and just kind of how we was approaching it, and if I was to tell you, hey, we keep a pilot, right? We keep a pilot. We keep a Donovan Wilson around. We make a trade for Stephon Gilmore. Who do we lose? We lose a Connor McGovern so far.
Right.
You see Luke Gifford, he leaves. So what? Noah Brown, he leaves. None of these moves is really moving the needle. I think we're right where we need to be. And honestly, like you say, is it some big news or something we're working on? I really feel like we're still working on the splash. You look around, you see the Eagles, they just bring back Bradbury, they sign Penny, they making their moves. You see the Giants, they stocking up. And like, what part of you believes that, hey, the Cowboys just kind of seeing the division, you know, closing that gap a little bit and say, hey, we gotta move off our hands and do something right away?
No, I almost feel like that Gilmore trade had to have been in the works for a while, but I definitely don't think that's the big move Jerry was talking about. So there is something else out there brewing. But, you know, as frustrated as it gets as a Cowboys fan with the front office and free agency, like, they kind of never let us down. Like, day 1, day 2, day 3, man, you're just overspending. So you can't tell me what's his name, the guy that just got McGlinchey. What he just get like 70 million, 60 guaranteed or something
I
crazy.
just seen Micah throw this man in the NFC, not the NFC Championship, but in the playoffs. Or whatnot,
Like, that's crazy to me. Like, you can't pay somebody getting hip tossed that much money. But no, they do the smart thing. I mean, we'll still sign 2 or 3 guys, but it won't be until next week or the week after, if it's even that soon, you know. I almost feel like we'll probably sign another guy or 2, hit the draft, and then see what we're missing after that.
I mean, some of the better front offices, I mean, as much as they'll say about, you know, paying this guy or doing certain things on the first day, we all know, hey, the first day is where you overpay at. You know what I mean? Because you don't know the true market value of a player. It's just that everybody is kind of negotiating against themselves. They feel it's a need, so they're rushing out there and they happen on the first day possible.
Right.
But I think, you know, when you move on to the latter part of it, everybody kind of gets the idea of where this player should be or where this player should be. And I think you get more market value, and I think that's what we are. That's what we've been. And, you know, I don't really like the bargain bin shopping of it. You know what I mean? As far as like some of these players we've seen over the past years, like James Washington and, you know what I mean, Gerald McCoy's in the past couple of years. But you do find a guy like a Jaron Curse every once in a while. You would just hope that we mix in some big plays, some big impact players that could possibly push us over the top every once in a while. So I think Stephon Gilmore, while he's not who he once was, I still think this is a solid piece. He's a veteran in presence. He's a player that has been in the Super Bowl before, and he's a former Defensive Player of the Year as well. So I think that carries a lot of weight. And then I think you keep stacking these guys, man. He doesn't cost much. I said, let's keep going forward, man. And, you know, I mean, we don't got long, but I'm kind of excited for how this thing going to round out, man. I know a lot of people was, you know, all over the place. They panicking. What are we going to do, man? But I think we're okay. And if anything, like you said, the Cowboys, we built through the draft.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whether you want to realize it or not. But if anything, man, trust in Will McClure.
And even with that, too, man, like, we don't shop on day 1. Like, we do usually spend day 1, day 2 just trying to get our guys back. You know, like, it is that homegrown talent thing. And obviously, like, we lost Ced Wilson last year. Like, we lose guys, but some of them come back home. So we get Donovan at a cheaper deal probably than what we would have had to give him if we didn't let him hit the open market. You know, so I think it all works out in the end. And Donovan is a key piece. Like you said, that's our tone setter, man. So keeping that in the locker room is going to be huge. We do got to shore up this linebacker position. Something's got to give there. I'm cool bringing back LVE. I want to trade for Bobby. see what happens in the draft, and then outside of that, it's just receiver and O-line.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's it, man. And we running this thing back. We running it back. Like as of right now, if we was to go into the season right now, and you know what I mean, the offensive line right now, it's okay. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? We okay. We lose Conor McGovern, like I said, we okay. Cornerback position, hey, look, we're fine. Safety,
Right.
we seen that run, we're fine. Defensive line, you know what I mean? I see us in talks. We kind of still in discussion with Dante Fowler. I'm okay with that. We're fine, man. So if you think about it, Dak, we get the pilot back. The only thing, if you was to kind of sit back and say, where am I uncomfortable at? I think you would have to look at receiver and linebacker, and I think the Cowboys know that. And you know what I mean, is it strength on strength, or is it addressing some of these needs, you know what I mean, to round it out in the later rounds? But I think, you know what I mean, BPA all the way. That's kind of the way it's coming.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know you mentioned the offensive guard tackle
Oh,
that you like, man, and I'm okay with it. Just looking at the film of him, I'm kind of hoping he falls now. It just kind
yeah.
of just changes the whole view and whole, you know what I mean, the way we looked at it.
That's
Yeah, man.
where I'm at right now with our lineup. I feel like receiver obviously is a weakness, linebacker is a weakness. Where I'm most uncomfortable, it could become a weakness, is the O-line, because we're like one play away from shuffling, and which it happens on the offense. We just need more depth there, in my opinion. And if Buddy from TCU can fall, I'll take that in the first round. And then after that, it's BPA all the way, baby. If it corner falls, like what if what's his name, the corner from Illinois were to fall to 27? Snag that right there. Now we got all the corners. You know what I mean?
Like I'll still take it.
And then at that point, name a better secondary in the NFL.
I think we can have a discussion now.
Right.
You know what I mean? I thought, you know, the Miami Dolphins with Xavier and Howard and Jalen Ramsey, that's great. But when you add the safeties into the equation, I think, you know, I mean, I might got to get an edge to the Cowboys, man. And, you know, Philly, they had the talented secondary over there, but if they lose a Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and
Right.
they got a lot of moving pieces, I think you look at it, we have one of the better secondaries in the NFL right now. You know what I mean? Quarterback, I think we're fine. A lot of people bag on Dak or whatever. Like you said about the offensive line, we're a player away from it being a problem. I think we still got to figure out the Tyron Smith swing tackle situation. Hopefully, get us a guy in there at some point. But in general, I think for the most part we're fine. We just need to, you know, find some impact players, and I think we will though. You see the Jerry Jeudy news? He's out there. How you feel about Jeudy? You ain't like Jeudy?
I don't like the Jeudy. You know I don't like the Jeudy. But let me say why though. I don't think it makes sense to have two young boys on the exact same contract. Because then when it comes time to payday, like, unless Jeudy is cool and understands his role and is willing to take like 9-10 million like Gallup got, you know what I mean? Because I just feel like it doesn't, like, what do I have to give up for him? A second? Probably.
I think we will, man. Not that I think we'll give up a second for Jeudy. I don't think it's worth a second, I'm gonna be honest. And as far as the price tag, I'm not sure if he's not worth anything in the CD range, because I mean he's had the injury history.
Right.
If you was to pull the stats up, what have you done for me lately? I think you could get him, you know what I mean, fairly cheap at the moment, man. So it's like it's not a problem to have. It's like first option. Obviously, I'm on the D Hop side. I love to, you know what I mean, go ahead, call Buffalo and see what's going with Stephon Diggs. There's a lot of stuff going on there, but I don't think that's realistic, right? So I think the most realistic option we're looking at is an OBJ situation. But you got your boy Aaron Rodgers over there, you know what I mean, putting in his wish list, and he won everything he can get at this point. So I mean, it's some suitors lining up. It may not have been as easy as it was to get him at the first time around, but I think that 20 million price tag that you seen reported earlier, you know, in the week, I don't believe that's you know what I mean, true. So I think he's just kind of gauging the market right now. But I believe the Cowboys are still the number one team for him. You know what I mean? They just gotta, you know what I mean, sort this thing out a little bit. But I did see Jerry driving the bus, man. So if it's Jerry, and you know how Jerry feels about OBJ, Steven is kind of, you know, out the way. Put him in the closet, just tell him chill until this get done. I think, you know what I mean, Jerry might make it happen, man. He in love with him, for real.
No, it is crazy because actually I do want to talk about this. The OBJ thing I said earlier today, I was like, without a doubt, like that's like I expect that. But then you got A-Rod coming in with his bullshit, and he sounds like a little kid, man. It's kind of crazy. But he got this whole wish list. Like, what? I don't know. But with that being said, that means they might need to move off some receivers over with the Jets. How do you feel about an Elijah Moore or a Denzel Mims?
Oh, I take both. I like both. I think explosiveness. I like Elijah Moore. I think he fits
Right.
better in the offense, whatever. But I think Denzel Mims has it. I mean, both players, to be honest, have yet to reach their potential, but they just haven't had a quarterback to get them the ball, man. We all know who Zach Wilson is. Mike White. It wasn't Mike. I don't even think Mike White, but I think with Flacco, Elijah Moore actually shown a little life, man. So both of these guys got potential. Get them fairly cheap. I'm not looking at these guys as a number 2, receiver at this point. But if you're telling me one of these guys can come in and I replace a Noah Brown, this is our number 3, possibly number 4 receiver, sign me up. Just like Thielen, he was like, how you feel about Thielen? I'm like, I don't want Thielen to be my number 2. But if you telling me this is the guy replacing a Noah Brown, like all hands on deck, like I'm all for it, especially another veteran presence in this locker room. If we move on from a TY, I still think that's something that's needed as well.
No, I think, to be honest with you, I like Elijah Moore a lot, and I think he could probably be had for like a 7th round pick. But I feel like he's more of like a Kadarius Toney guy. Like you have to manufacture his touches, but when the ball's in his hand, it's electric. It's not like as simple as 15 catches a game. Like I don't think he's that kind of guy. So I think he'd be a fun addition as far as like a playmaker. And then the D-Hop news, what you said, you don't think now he's worth a 2. I kind of agree. Didn't he get dealt for a 2 in his prime?
Yeah, it
from
was
Houston.
Yeah,
like it was for
no way. I said the same thing about Jalen Ramsey. I'm like, you won the first. You see what they had to settle for. There's no way you're getting a 2 for D-Hop, man.
Right.
And honestly, I don't even think it's a 3. Like I'm not. No. You know what I mean? Hopefully they'll eat some of that deal. He did come out and say he's willing to be flexible. So I mean, going into this thing, hey, whatever I trade for him, he's willing to, come down offense. Now I'm gonna be a little bit more flexible, help the team with the cap a little bit. So I think, looking at it from that standpoint, hey, go get him. Why not sign 2 or 3 guys? I mean, we need it. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you think about it. We signed the OBJ. We draft a receiver. Let's say per se not first round. But you're still not dealing with much, you know what I mean? OBJ gets hurt, you rolling in there with CD and Tolbert or something like that. So I mean, I think you got to look at it from a standpoint of we might got to attack this thing multiple ways. Same thing from the linebacker room. But if we attack these positions, man, look, I already think we cooking with something. I don't think the Eagles gonna be the same. I truly don't. They'll still be up there, but it's a lot of moving pieces. You know what I mean? But I think truthfully, we're right where we need to be in this division. Don't panic too much. There's a lot of guys out there, but I'm willing to bet draft night, you know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of happy people in Dallas, and we'll be, you know what I mean? It kind of seems like we in this repetitive cycle. It's like we in there, we good, we're not there. Free agency starts, we mad, and Cowboys make some last-minute move, and everybody excited again, and we have an awesome draft as always, and then, we're excited moving into this thing, man, so I think we'll be all right.
Now, real quick before we get out of here, did you see the Vander Esch news?
No,
Jane Slater just reported the Texans and the Steelers is who we were bidding against, but it looks like we just signed him back for 2 years, $11 million. So scratch all that Wagner talk, I guess.
That's crazy. It was the Texans and Steelers, huh? Man, look. So there you go. LV is back, and we okay with that. So it's crazy that we're just talking about setting this thing up for the draft, and now you get him back in that linebacker room. And then, honestly, I think right now, I think this sets up for a perfect spot just to go ahead and attack this receiver position, man. I think, with LV, we know what that is. We still need another body. But I'm okay with LV. What that, $5.5 million?
Yeah. And that's not even what the guaranteed money was. So,
I think it makes sense, man. Yeah, and it's 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years. So that's definitely front loaded. So you know what that is, man? They probably just took that Gallup money and set it over to Vander Esch's bank account.
Now, the only thing that might irritate me about this is that I wanted to upgrade for that position. I felt like Bobby Wagner was a realistic, target. And I just wonder, are we out on that? Do we still attack this position? I think it's more to see on that. But, as far as, keeping the guy around, the news come out, you get your Donovan back, you get your LV, you get your Terrence Stills back, all the guys that, that was kind of there that we felt their presence, I think you just gotta say something that the Cowboys are just kind of keeping this thing together. We reloading, and hey, man, we're just gonna keep stacking the deck, man. So I'm cool with it. I think we're doing a fine job, as it is.
No, absolutely. And Cowboy Nation, be calm. Everything's gonna be all right, man. Uncle Jerry's got us. He's gonna bring us here, to back up to here, man. We still got more money to spend. We still got the draft ahead of us, man. We're gonna make some good moves.
It's going to be a roller coaster. Some fans going to be mad. They're going to say, why not Bobby Wagner? You know what I mean? Whatever. But true fans, not the fair weather ones, is that's on whatever side of the boat. Just be patient, man. Like I said, I think it's more to come. I do think, you know what I mean, the NFC has put some pressure on the Cowboys. I think we're gonna be making some moves here, man. OBJ, fingers crossed, man. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, man. Stay tuned, man. We're gonna be bringing y'all some more, man.